Uh-oh. You know what? I think we had some technical difficulties here. Okay, look. Hey, fraud. Think about the last time someone offered you something for free, whether it was a dinner, a ticket, a night out. It's kind of easy to say yes, right? But what if that gift came with strings that you couldn't see? What if every smile, every perk was really just a payment for something else? Wink, wink. So today we're going to step into a world where the gifts they keep coming and the cost is hidden for everyone else. Are you ready? Let's go. Wait a minute. You know what? I'm having technical difficulties over here today. Some serious technical difficulty. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Friday Fraudster podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com.
All right. Hey, fraud friends and family, you heard the question that I asked. Think about the last time you had someone offer you something for free. Was it really free? And were there strings attached to that something that they offered you for free? I think that's a very valid question. I just want to know what you guys think. Because every time somebody offers me something for free, I get a little leery. Like, what do you want? So, okay, it's not just me today. Well, it never is really just me because you guys don't come here to see me. Let me introduce our guests for today. Hey guys, what's that?
Hello.
All right. So listen. When's the last time someone offered you something for free and it just didn't feel right? That's the last time you got something free.
I don't remember the last time.
Oh, okay. So nobody's trying to bribe you up.
I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm having. There we go. There's Thomas.
Oh, we got technical difficulties all around today, huh?
Oh, I can see him now. What about you, Thomas?
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I was just trying to direct my brain. I can't think of the last time someone offered me something for free, let alone like having it feel suspicious. Yeah, I got nothing.
You, Rob?
Nobody gives me anything. I mean, you know what? I'll take that back. So maybe not necessarily free, but I do recall a time where I was working on a job and I had a pretty substantial pay increase when other people did not. And then I later kind of figured out and put two and two together as to why that potential pay increase, why potentially that pay increase came. That's a story for another day. What about Stephanie and Shafundu and Carol who are listening right now? When's the last time you got something for free and it just kind of made you scratch your head and wonder if there was an ulterior motive behind getting that free thing?
I think like the way that I think about it, I've never gotten anything, but I'm sure all of us had somebody like say or do to try and get us to do something, manipulate us in a certain way to get what they want.
Ooh, so okay, you're going in the right place. So when's the last time that happened to you? What was that?
I mean, would it be bad if I sit here and say probably weekly? I got kids. They manipulate me all the time to get what they want.
It's always friends and family, right?
I mean, it does. Now, do I think that all manipulation is bad? And I feel like I want to say no, but I don't consider it manipulation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that you have conversation, you have dialect, you know what I'm saying? But even when people, no matter what, when people want to get their way, they might not call it manipulation, but it's the way that you sell things or the way that you communicate it that sometimes can get it your way, even if you're withholding information. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. No, for sure. Stephanie says people give me their opinions all the time. And she says she's always skeptical of the free lunch. Me too. You know, and back to your point though, Christine. I personally don't think that manipulation is a bad word. I think it is one of those words that can be good or can be bad. We are always manipulating something in our environment. That's the way of life. As humans, we are selfish and we want things to go our way. Now, sometimes certain people, when it comes to our way, that means bettering our whole community or something like that. That's usually not entirely too bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then some people are just self-centered, self-intention, and that could be bad. I think this is Carol. Yeah, free dinner and a cruise just for listening to a presentation. Wait a minute, somebody was trying to sell you a timeshare, weren't they?
Okay, so yes, last time I got something for free was a timeshare presentation like 18 years ago.
Oh, well, 18 years ago. It must have been either a really good or a really bad presentation for you to still remember it like that, huh?
It was the one and only one that I did, and it was when me and my ex-husband were on our honeymoon.
I was gonna say 18 years ago for you is you were like what, 6, 7 years old? I mean, come on now.
I wish.
Right?
The thing is people are gonna laugh at this, especially when they find out what we got for sitting in on this presentation. We got free tickets to Dollywood.
Hey, look,
All right.
I'm a fan of Dolly. I'm not gonna laugh at that. I've been to Dollywood.
I'd rather have the dinner and cruise.
Yeah. You know, talking about like manipulation and how some of it is, basically accepted. It's not underhanded and stuff. I'm coordinating a men's conference for my church next week, and a couple of weeks ago we had a men's breakfast, and I'm standing in front of about 80 people, and I go, okay, how many people are signed up for the conference? 2 people raised their hands. I said, okay, how many are thinking about or are considering it? And like 20 something raised their hands. So my first response was, I hate you. Literally, I said that to the audience. I was like, I hate you because you haven't signed up. I said, but we're giving away swag bags, and one of them is going to have a gift card in it at random, but you have to sign up to be eligible for this gift card. So trying to manipulate to try to get them to, so I think that kind of manipulation obviously is okay, right? It's giving them incentive to do what you want them to do.
I mean,
There you go.
I sat through a presentation for a new software platform so I could get somebody on my team a cool sweatshirt that said, you guys would love it. It says, fight fraud, fight fraud, not feelings, or something like that.
Ah,
All right.
okay. Okay. Now, Shakundu says,
Rob, we need to go buy a whole bunch of sweatshirts to give away with our demos.
There you go.
I'm thinking I'll just offer people a nice smile, and that'll work,
How about a whole bunch of iHeart audit stuff?
Now, okay, so Shafundu says that he realized smiles and greetings that he used to get from a client were all manipulative after they stopped completely right after he caught him committing fraud. There you go. Yeah. So the client was smiling and nodding, and then all of a sudden, he found him catching fraud. Man, look, okay, so here's my next question. You all and anyone, what is the biggest thing you've ever said yes to when you knew you probably should have said no? For example, it could have been like maybe you stayed out late for work, maybe you splurged on something that was outside of your budget, Maybe you let somebody talk you into a deal that seemed too good to be true. What is something you said yes to when you probably should have said no?
About 10% of my clients.
I mean, I guess anytime that I stay out later than what I was anticipating, but it's nothing that I feel guilty about. Does that make sense? So the way that I'm taking your question, Rob, is what have you said yes to that you shouldn't have, that once you said yes, for me, I would be guilting myself. As soon as I said yes and I
Okay.
knew I shouldn't have, I would probably try and find every sort of way of getting out of it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
What about you? Calling out our naughty lists right now.
Oh, yeah. I've said yes to a few things that I probably should have said no to. To me, the biggest one on the top of my list right now is every once in a while I'll give free training. Just every once in a while, like twice a year, I'll probably give a group free training. And sometimes you give it to the wrong group 100%. Like it's just like if it's a group that maybe doesn't have money, I give discounts occasionally, but sometimes you might do something for lower rate and you probably shouldn't have. That's the biggest example that I can think of for me personally in the present moment. Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure we've all done it. It's just if we learned
Yeah.
and we changed, right? Progression as we get older.
Yeah. So here's my next question. What if somebody offered you a business trip with perks from a company that you might later audit? Would you take it? I mean, is there a fine line between legitimate hospitality and outright bribery? Now, I want you to think about this for a minute, and let me tell you. So when I worked for Winn-Dixie way back in the day, so they had like 11 different locations in 11 different states, and we used to have to travel to all the different states. And occasionally, a controller would come and offer us free tickets to something. Now, what we had to do was either A, turn it down, or B, email our director immediately and say, this is what was offered. He would say either yay or nay. So, for example, for baseball fans out there, I've been to a few opening day Braves games, but we had to go straight to our director. Hey, look, this is what the controller offered us. And, the director would be like, okay, I'll just log it. And he kept a list of any time we were offered things. And so we were actually auditing the, unit, but they would have free tickets and they would give us free tickets. So anything like that ever happened to you all? Or anybody offer something where you just felt like, I don't know about this?
So I had a situation years ago now. I'm trying to remember if I was an employee or a consultant. I don't remember now because this one client I actually worked for briefly. Long story. Anyway, they had a location up in New York, and we were up there doing internal audit work, SOX work. They were, I don't remember if it was a joint venture or a subsidiary. I think it was a joint venture that was up there. So this was one of those that you only do this testing like once every 3 years, once every 5 years. And even the results, nobody really cared about necessarily, unless something major was found, fraud, something like that. Otherwise, nobody cared. But we went up there, we were doing the test work, and one of the guys came by one time and said, hey, we've got extra tickets. We have season tickets. We have extra tickets to the Yankees game tonight. Do you want to go? And the three of us sitting there, we were like, sure, and they ended up being like club seats, really nice seats, really expensive stuff and all, which we didn't know that ahead of time. But yeah, we went and we did it. Now, it didn't impact any of our decisions, but being older and wiser than I was back then, I know we talked to the boss and informed the boss, and the boss okayed it. But even with that, I don't know if I would have accepted those tickets.
Yeah, I think I think there's always a chance that something could sway your perception, but I think when you start to disclose certain things, especially if it's not a large dollar amount, it's just what it is. But imagine the guy signing off on your tax return is secretly being treated to private dances paid for by the person that he's auditing. And I know it feels like a plot to a bad movie, but this is real. And so in today's story, a New York state auditor, a strip club empire, millions in unpaid taxes, and text messages that read like a confession. Now, doesn't all that sound like a Jerry Springer episode?
Get into writing for a movie.
Okay, our story centers on a gentleman by the name of Alton Plunk. He's a longtime auditor with the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance. Now, on the other side of this is RCI Holdings, a Texas-based company running a national chain of gentlemen's clubs. They go by the name Rick's Cabaret, Vivid Cabaret, Hoops Cabaret, etc. A lot of cabarets, right? Between 2010 and January 2024, prosecutors say that RCI and its executives orchestrated a scheme to evade over $8 million in New York City and state sales tax. So taxes that were owed. You know what? Before I get into that, I'm gonna kick it over to you guys. What do you think so far? 'Cause we'll tell you what the taxes were actually owed for in just a second. I was about to give it away, and I'm like, wait a minute. What do you guys think? A tax auditor being bribed by a strip club owner, allegedly.
I don't think this is the only tax professional that's currently being bribed. He just got caught.
Ooh.
In all honesty, why not? Like, I shouldn't say why not. I mean, like, how could that not happen? These people have like so much control over what you're paying in on your taxes. If you're a company, they're gonna try it. There's like, do you know what I'm saying? Like the talk of there's no harm in asking. What's the worst thing your tax person's gonna do? Say no?
True.
I don't know.
Okay. What? You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Bribes happen a lot, right? And like you just said, potential bribes. People can ask. But for some reason, this one just seems like this was a cheap bribe. Like I don't. Okay. If I had a preference, I would rather take cash over a word that rhymes with cash. I would rather have the cash than lap dances at a strip club. Like this one is just baffling me a little bit. And Thomas finally got that.
Oh no, I got it very quickly.
But
So,
I understand it. You'd have to claim the cash. Do you know what I'm saying? So with this guy taking the lap dances instead of cash, guess what he's not getting charged with? Tax evasion.
You know what?
He's not trying to have to launder this money some way to get it into the system. He's getting a benefit that serves a need that he thinks he wants, or does want, I should say. And he's probably got out of an extra 20-year sentence if he's found guilty.
I just don't see how the benefit was worth it, though. But okay. I digress.
I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say it. One of his quotes made it seem like he definitely thought it was worth it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to the quotes, man. We are definitely gonna get to the quotes. Okay, so the taxes were actually owed on the club's in-house currency known as dance dollars. So now these dance dollars were purchased by customers and they were redeemable for private dances and entertainment. And so prosecutors allege that RCI never collected or remitted full sales taxes on the dance dollars. So now imagine going to some place like a strip club and instead of paying cash for a dance, you pay the club and you get like this fake Monopoly money or preloaded card that you use for your dance, and these they call your dance dollars. That just seems odd. And then what if you don't like the service? Do you not get a refund? You just get in-store credit? Like what? What?
I'm finally reading these messages, and my mind is blown right now. And I don't live under a rock.
So you had to say a gift card, Rob, because the I don't remember what movie it was, but there was some movie where this guy or group of guys go to I think it was a strip club, and they ask if they take credit card, and the girl says yes, and then she turns around and bends over, and he tries to swipe the card. Anyway, please move on.
I think that was what was the movie with Mike Tyson and he had the tiger and the guys were drunk and they went out for a bachelor party.
No, it wasn't that one. So I've never seen that one.
Oh, you sure? Okay. Now Stephanie says they probably didn't report a big chunk of cash. Stephanie, you just heard it was the dance dollars. Now Shafundu says that this is pretty common in developing countries. And wait, Stephanie says an unlicensed MSB. Wait, what's an MSB, Stephanie?
Money service business. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, money service business. Yeah.
There are some FinCEN rules that if you produce, so I'm not going to kind of agree with Stephanie on this, only because there is a closed looped gift card ruling in it. So like if you only issue gift cards that can only be used at your store, you're considered low risk and you don't have to register as an MSB. However, that's if you don't exceed $2,000 per person per day. Do you know what I'm saying? So like you wouldn't sell more than $2,000 per day in store gift cards to one person. That would get you through that loop. I think it's probably based on the type of club that it is. There's probably a higher chance that people are going to be spending more than $2,000 in their virtual currency that they decide to use.
I mean, we are talking possible $8 million in tax evasion over. So, and Stephanie hitting the point I was at. It's like Chuck E. Cheese tokens, right? It's just weird. Oh, and I do agree. Stephanie says it's likely to prevent dancers from shorting the house. But I mean, okay. All right. So back in the day when I was young, I had a friend who ran a business like this. So they still paid the house money to come in and perform. So to me, anything above and beyond that should be yours to begin with. Not that we're sitting here talking about stripper etiquette, but I'm just saying, you're right, Stephanie, but I think it's a way to take more money from them. If you have a fee that you pay, and then you have to pay the DJ or tip the DJ a fee, and then you tip the bar, you tip everybody else, then whatever is your money should be your money. So, oh, okay. Okay, so you know what? I'm not going to even say the next thing. I'm just going to dive right into it. The indictment alleges that he was lavished with 13 multi-day trips to Florida, which included hotels, meals, and private dances worth up to about $5,000 per day.
How long was this going on for?
Since 2010, from about 2010 to about 2024.
How much were they missing in tax payments?
About 8 mil is what they're estimating. So realistically, less than a little less than $1 million a year, I guess. You know.
It seems like the risk doesn't match the reward for the company.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what I was trying to figure out, because I'm guessing the number is probably more than that, and they'll come out with more, because they're also saying that on at least 10 occasions, the controller flew himself from Texas to Manhattan specifically to deliver bribes in person at some of the clubs. So it sounds like they weren't necessarily giving him hard money. He was getting club benefits, which they were then writing off on their books as advertising expenses.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry, promotional expenses. Promotional.
Promotional expenses. So was he going around telling his buddies how great the clubs were?
I mean, I think this guy probably was. I mean, some of the messages indicate that he had a really good time and that he would tell anybody how good the club was. We'll get to some of those messages in a second. Wow. Matter of fact, let's get to one of them. So yeah, the bribes were concealed in the company records disguised as promotional expenses. So in one of the text messages from February 23rd of 2022, he allegedly said, "This was the best trip I had in Florida. The girls were very beautiful and nice. On Thursday night, there were so many beautiful women. That's why I do many lap dances instead of going to the room." So I guess instead of going to his hotel room, he had many, many lap dances.
Who was that message? Who was that message to? Do we know?
I think it was one of the girls that was taking him on all of his trips to the actual club owner. So a lot of these are those two communicating back. Like she would end up texting him saying, "Hey, can I get $1,000 from the safe? I need to take him out to dinner. I'll try not to use it all. Whatever I don't use tonight, I'll use on him tomorrow." So it's a lot of them like conversing back and forth, like her asking for money or where she's going to take him. It's like all these plans. That I don't know. Was there any text messages from him? Oh, other than that one, I guess that one. Yeah, it was Plunkett.
Yeah, there were a few from him, and then a few between the executives. So for example, in one message, he was saying, "Got the guy 47,000 in Vivid, New York, but owes him a couple of trips." And for that one, it sounded like, they gave him $47,000 worth of that value, quote unquote, not 47,000 in his hand. But I couldn't really tell for sure. So okay, so let me just clarify this one. So in mails and text messages, the defendant openly discussed using trips to RCI clubs to help secure more favorable treatment from the auditor. For example, in June 2023, one person texted another one to boast that one of their clubs, Vivid Cabaret, would pay just $47,000 as a result of the audit. So they got the audit fees reduced down to $47,000. And then the guy responded back, a representative and executive from the company said, "Got the guy to 47,000 Vivid New York, but we still owe him a couple of trips," he wrote. In another instance, they explained that they may need to pamper the auditor a little bit more this time. So what he was doing is he was reducing their tax liability.
I know, but as I'm reading more and more, this is kind of making me nauseous thinking about it. Like, congratulations
I mean,
to you, my friend. You've done a wonderful job. Thanks for your consent. And today we received your down payment. So the owner to one of the girls. That's the way people do business in the country. Everyone is happy. You deserve a promotion. Keep the good work. What was the next one? It was essentially her saying, hey, he ended up texting me asking, why did I get so silent all of a sudden after the settlement? I think I need to take him out again on his trip. So it's very like, ooh.
yeah, he was using his position to get girls, and they were using him to lower the tax liability.
Yeah.
And that's why I say he kind of got the short end of the stick. I mean, like,
and they knew how
to
to
your
play
point.
him.
Yeah, oh yeah. To your point though, Christine, I guess he didn't accept a monetary bribe, so and he didn't. But to a certain extent, it just seems like he got the short end of the stick. He reduced their tax liability for them to go out with a few girls a couple of times, get a few lap dances.
Right, but what makes a bigger headline? That the owner of a strip club did something shady, or somebody who's a tax advisor auditor for the state of New York?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's kind of my point.
Yeah.
I mean,
he got the brunt. Yeah, you are right. He got the brunt of it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if he helped them avoid about $8 million in tax liability, it got him down to 47,000 on one club, and he still has nothing to show for it except for memories of a lap dance. That's weird to me. Weird.
Well, it seemed like, especially if it sounded like he was complaining that she stopped texting with him the moment he saved them money, like the tax part was done. So,
for sure.
He was feeling, lonely, and they were taking advantage of his loneliness.
Yeah, right here. Hi, Ed. Alton called last night and asked whether I could take him to Florida next week from the 12th to the 15th. Remember, in the beginning, the tax on Vivid audit was $190,000 plus interest. We wanted it to be at $70,000. While we were at Expo, I told him that I would take him to Florida once if he could get it down to that amount. He asked what it would take for him to go twice. I told him that it would cost $13,000 to $14,000 each time we made the trip. So if he could reduce it by $30K, I would split it. I would take him to Florida once more. He managed to reduce it by $35,000. We saved $35 in tax, or $43 including interest. Are you going to be in Miami next week? Please inform. Like, those are blatant text messages.
Yeah. Those were blatant text messages. Here's the other thing that struck me as weird about that. Going from 190,000 down to 47, from the standpoint of a multi-million-dollar corporation, that's not a lot of money.
Well, aren't they on the NASDAQ?
Yeah, which means though they must be doing bad. Because you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? That is not a lot of money if you are a multi-million-dollar corporation. And honestly, I didn't think that people were still frequenting gentlemen's clubs. I just didn't think they were still a multi-million-dollar business. I mean, okay, I'll stop.
Do you want something funny? I don't know if any of you guys watch South Park, like old South Park. I don't watch any of the new stuff. There is a strip club in our area that is called the Peppermint Hippo, which is the name of the strip club in South Park.
In South Park, yep.
We do have one.
Tree, I am not. No, ma'am.
We have not seen anybody in his screen yet. But I'm not in the room with him.
Okay. So now, let's talk about the discovery and escalation. Because I'm not quite sure. The trigger appeared to be like broad from this, like a multi-year investigation by the New York Attorney General's office, Letitia James, and an internal division of the tax department. So it seems like they were investigating, and then at some point they got wind of encrypted texts, emails, and then audit comparisons And then that raised some red flags, especially the promotional expenses and then, the favorable audit outcomes. And so then the indictment was added to a 79 count indictment that was already brought against RCI executives. So RCI was already under some investigation, and then they just added this to that. So
That's just crazy.
It is, but especially if you are a state auditor's department like this, right? If that is your job, knowing that you have some high risk areas that not just high risk, but kind of high temptation areas, casinos, strip clubs. I would even say like in the alcohol field as well, you might want to have a rotation of your auditors instead of letting them do it year after year after year, right? You might want to have a closer inspection of what they're doing to make sure they're not being bribed. I mean, whenever I had a client that had an office in Nigeria years ago, and Transparency International always has Nigeria in their top like 2 or 3 for most corrupt countries. So whenever I spoke to that office and gave them training on internal controls, they asked a question of, well, what if we have a one-off scenario for a control example? I said, look, Transparency International says this is a high-risk country. Every single person in the room shook their head yes. They acknowledged it. They knew it was a risk. So what do? I said, just over-document what you're doing. If you know an industry is a high risk for some kind of fraud like this to happen, you should have controls in place to prevent this from happening with your auditors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it looks like,
but I guess like
in
everything though, like how did
is where a lot of the stuff expanded, because they actually have text messages from back then from the CEO to the director of operations, where at one point he said, we need to talk about New York dance dollars to be hit with a $3 million sales tax soon. So that makes me wonder, if you ever hit with a $3 million sales, what did you make?
Yeah, really. I think I just had that pulled up.
How much did you really make?
There you go. I just had some of their. Where'd it go? There it is. Sorry, I just had some of their financial information up and I took it down.
I guess I should have pulled their financial statement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all the listed, you guys would have to get an Excel spreadsheet and start adding it up.
Well, looking at them on Yahoo Finance, it looks like their annual is just under $300 million. Is that right? Yeah. Because these numbers are in thousands. So if you're talking 300 million and you can reduce your taxes by, you're looking at $8 million tax, that's a pretty good chunk of change. And their net income, they've been losing money year after
year. Yeah, they have been, but if I'm looking at this right, in 2024, they reported 295 million in total revenue.
So it's just making me wonder, though, if we're going to be going off of what their tax reporting is, and it looks like they're losing money, that's part of the scheme where they're not having to pay in. So they're having to hide that money somehow, that they're not reporting it. Or am I wrong?
And so, yeah, I think you're right. It looks like they had about a 80% drop in earnings year over year for the last couple of years.
I was wrong. They are making money, but the profit margin is slim.
Yeah. No, they are. Like I said, last year I think it was 295 million in total revenue, and the net income was I think about 3 million.
Yep. 3 million from continuing operations. Yep.
Yeah. So, because I'd imagine it takes a lot to run the operation, especially if you have real estate in New York and Miami. Those are high rent districts. I just didn't know that these types of places were still making that kind of money.
Yeah.
But it's also in New York, higher metropolitan city. There's probably an increase for like bachelorette parties that go and visit. But so what you're saying, Rob, is you have not been to a strip club lately.
That would be quite accurate. Yes. That would be very accurate. You know what's really interesting too is their stock back in 2022 was as high as $93 a share.
And now it's
2023.
Now it's down to 31.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I had the stat right because I'd heard it somewhere at some point, but I didn't want to say it until I looked it up. Rob, you and I live in the city that has apparently the most strip clubs compared to any other U.S. city.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. And it's still baffling.
Yeah.
You know. So, okay. So looking at it, their gross profit in 2020, oh, wow, they actually increased in gross profit, was 110 million in 2020, but 249 million in 2024. Now, let's dig into where's net. So pre-tax income in 2020, obviously they lost money. They lost 6 million. But in 2024, they actually had a positive of 2.6 million in pre-tax income, that is. Oh wow. This is very interesting. They actually had more money in 2024 than they did in 2020, which okay, got it, COVID. But let's see, how far can I go back on this thing? Can I go back a few more years? Darn it, I can't. Oh wow.
Do some of
Tree
these
said it
people live
feels
in
like
Denver? The owners of the club?
no. Well, one of them lives in Houston. I know. I don't know where a few of the others live, but I know one of them is 70 something years old and lives in Houston. I had the full listing, but I have to go back to it. Let's see. Give me just 1 second here. Oh, I forgot to ask location. All right. So, okay, here we go. The director of operations is 58 years old. The CFO is 41. The New York City regional manager, assistant director of nightclub operations is 45. The president and CEO is 57. And the controller / accountant is 71. And let's see, Houston, New York, Houston, and then there's a sixth individual that is unapprehended, and his or her name has not been disclosed yet. So that's
Just trying to find how long they could sit for.
Oh yeah, hold on. I got that. Let me go back to my notes because that's an interesting one. So the charges, right? Conspiracy in the 4th degree, bribe receiving in the 2nd degree, criminal tax fraud in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degrees, falsifying business records in the 1st degree. So on top, on the top count, 1st degree criminal tax fraud, that guy could face 8 to 25 years in prison. So that's for the guy who was the recipient of the lap dances, the dance dollars. Now, for the defendants on the RCI side, there was a 79 count indictment that included conspiracy, bribery, criminal tax fraud, falsifying business records, etc., etc. There's a lot. So, for example, a couple of them face up to 25 years for first-degree criminal tax fraud. The bribery is a max of 15 years. And what else? Oh, that's all I got. Oh. Uh-oh, Christine is looking at something.
I'm trying to find pictures. I want to put face to the name.
Wait, pictures of what now? Wait a minute.
That's what I was going to say.
Out of all the stories, this was the worst one to say that.
Right. You fell right there for it, too. That was great. That was a good setup.
How dare
Christine was
you?
like, Christine's like, you know, there's these beautiful women everywhere. Christine's like, let me see.
No, I was trying to like I'm trying to be that creeper on like LinkedIn and Facebook, and there's a picture of one of the executives, but that looks like it was from 2004. I like reading people's comments to stories. Not finding anything.
Yeah, this is, I would say that this has to be one of the more interesting items we've discussed, right?
Only thing that beats strippers is a dead body, apparently.
Right? Okay, so here's my question. Who do you blame more here? The guy taking the bribes or the company treating the bribes like the business expense? Who do you blame more, the guy taking the bribes or the company?
I have an answer, but you guys might not like it.
Uh-oh. I mean, no judgment here.
I think it's the auditor that took the bribes. Like, this guy has to be a CPA or something to that effect to be a tax auditor. And there are standards to our credibility, ethics. Like, you signed on, you knew what was expected as your professional duties and care. So yeah, no, I'll leave it at that.
No, I'm with you, and I think I'm personally offended at how cheaply he was brought. No, I'm just kidding. But because think about this. Only in New York can tax fraud read like the plot of a Scorsese movie directed by Vegas showgirls. Like, only in New York.
So
what about you, Thomas? Who do you blame more?
Oh, I blame him as well. So whenever I hear about tax guy, I know he was more of an auditor, but when I hear about tax guys and like some kind of corruption, it actually goes back to Bible days where Zacchaeus, which everybody hears about the story of Zacchaeus, and you hear this wee little man, and that's what they think of, but he was actually a tax collector. And he's pointed out in the Bible because those were some of the most corrupt people in the town. They were taking bribes all over the place. They were collecting more taxes than they should. So that's what everybody thought of them. They were the lowest of the low, the scumbags. And for someone working in this, in that industry, both tax as well as audit, we definitely should have higher standards for what we do. I mean, it's not uncommon for a bribe to be offered to us. We should have the thick skin to turn them down.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to cheat on your taxes. It's another thing to cheat on your taxes with glitter involved. That's a whole nother.
That was bad. That was really bad.
That's a whole nother. Now, okay, so Stephanie is with us too, the guy taking the bribe, because honestly, people expect stuff from that kind of business. Yeah. I mean, definitely you expect that kind of stuff from that kind of business.
But let's be real here, though, too. That business should not have allowed that kind of culture to go on. It doesn't matter if it's, I wouldn't say accepted, but that's, we say, oh yeah, that's part of that business. They should be working to change the views of that kind of business, and they're obviously just supporting that.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's what you would think. That's why the whole concept, again, okay, going back to what I said earlier, in all seriousness, that's why the whole concept of dance dollars didn't really sit well with me to begin with, because it just seemed like another way to fleece the girls. You don't have to like the business to actually point out an unfairness within it. Right?
Oh, you're right.
Sure. Yep.
So
Yeah. It's just, I guess there's a is it bad? I'm not surprised.
no, I don't think so. I don't think any of us are surprised,
I just feel kind of bad that I'm starting to get to that point. Like, oh, fraud, not surprised.
Yeah, yeah.
Stephanie's
Oh,
having
wow.
fun with it.
Yeah, she's found something. Now Shri says that she is surprised. They need stock and glitter.
Uh,
I wonder what body glitter stock is going for right now.
I'm not about to Google that because that's going to suddenly come up in every single one of my feeds for Amazon and all of that.
Yep. Well, okay. In all seriousness, though, I really am surprised by the amount of revenue generated, because apparently there were only 3 locations, if I'm not mistaken. There was Rick's Cabaret in, well, no, hold on, I take that back. There were 3 locations in New York. So there was Rick's Cabaret in New York on 33rd Street. Then there was Vivid Cabaret, 37th Street. And then there was Hoops Cabaret and Sports Bar on 33rd Street, which is 1 block from, there we go, 1 block from Madison Square Garden and Penn Station. That kind of makes sense because that was a sports bar too. Okay. So it makes a little bit more sense now. Like I said, something in my head, and so then in
Hey, Rob, I didn't catch those addresses. Can you give me those addresses one more time? I need to research. I'm kidding.
Oh boy. Oh. So okay, but with one of them being a sports bar / cabaret close to stadium, that it makes a little bit more sense now. And so Stephanie's right. Yeah, could be underlying labor / human traffic. It's very possible, you know.
Well, especially since you said it was by the garden.
Yeah, and by Union Station. So
Yes. One of those really bad statistics is sexual trafficking occurrences increase at the states where the Super Bowl takes place.
oh yes, yeah. You know what? So here's what makes even more sense now, and I don't know why I didn't find this part earlier. According to their financial statements, they own and operate more than 60 locations. And so that includes nightclubs, sports bars, and restaurant units. And so some of them are the bar / cabaret type environment, and some might just be the bar. So, okay, that makes sense. 69 venues across 13 states. Wait a minute, don't they also own Bombshells?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know that one. I mean, I don't know if they own that one.
That's another. I've never been to one, but I think it's either. Isn't it like a Hooters, or is it a? I think it's like a Hooters. Hold on, let me look that up. Okay, it is. Okay. So yeah, so this makes more sense now with the revenue. Yeah, Bombshells, restaurants, and bars. So it's kind of like.
Yeah, so Stephanie mentioned about the labor and human trafficking. As much as I absolutely love my town, my home city. Houston, we just mentioned has the most strip clubs. We're also considered the human trafficking capital of the United States.
That is correct. Yes.
Which is why I really despise the fact that we're going to have the World Cup, or at least part of the World Cup, played in Houston.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's going to be very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And Stephanie's saying she would love to dig into their finances and media searches.
Yeah.
Boy, that's interesting. First Hooters, now Bombshells is closing. Darn it. Oh, let me stop.
You don't put me as a Hooters kind of guy there, Rob.
Oh, I'm definitely not.
I'll say I didn't think you liked things.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Honestly, who cares about looking at pretty girls while you eat? I don't have a problem with that. The food at Hooters was disgusting. I've only been to Hooters twice in my life. That was more than 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The food wasn't good.
No. But I don't think people went there for their food.
I mean,
I shouldn't say anything.
So my first job was at a Dairy Queen next to a Hooters. And there were quite a few families that were actually going in and claiming that the food was really good. So I don't.
Well, they say that the wings were supposed to be so good. And I remember the first time I had the wings, I was looking at them like, yeah, no. I mean, because.
So there's a place in my area that we like to say has the Hooters rejects working there.
Oh.
And you don't necessarily, but you go there because their crawfish is some of the best crawfish in town. So, maybe some people think those wings are really good at Hooters. I don't know.
I would go to a shady place though if I knew that they had really good crawfish or seafood, because I absolutely love seafood.
Yep.
I don't think I would go to a nightclub to eat.
No.
That's where I'd draw the line.
Yeah, I agree.
Or a gentleman's club.
Yes, I guess, yeah.
Look, I'm sorry. I know that there are a lot of places that have gentlemen's clubs that they supposedly have some of the best buffets around, but I don't know if I'm trusting the buffet food coming out of the kitchen at a strip club. I'm sorry. It's just.
Guess you have to look at their health rating. Don't they have to have those posted?
Would I really trust the health inspector? He would probably get bribed just like the New York tax collector guy.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh, just call it perks of the job.
Oh, God. But you're right, though, Rob. If you're willing to bribe a tax person to not do taxes, why wouldn't you bribe your health inspector?
That's my point.
You're right. You're right.
Thank you. Stephanie just said it. Too much of other people's DNA. I just couldn't. No.
No. God.
I mean, think about it. Even if you did wear a hairnet in the kitchen, even if you did wear a hairnet in the kitchen, some stuff the hairnet just can't catch. I mean,
we have gone downhill fast.
I'm just saying, we masked up during COVID and people still got COVID.
That's true. It's just the way that Stephanie say it. Just too many people's DNA. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you for that. Love it, Stephanie.
But she's right. I didn't want to say it just like that. Plus, I couldn't think of an elegant way to say it. She said it in the most appropriate way possible. I was sitting here like, well,
I could have not phrased it better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's why I kept my mouth shut, because I could not think of a way to phrase it. And she just helped me out big time there, because I'm sitting here thinking, no. Just no.
Yeah.
Just no.
No.
Mm.
Rob, I think we need a painting in this one.
But yeah, I think you might be right. Ooh, let me see. I think you might be right. Somebody's laughing on LinkedIn. That's probably Stephanie. I can see the laugh emoji coming up on LinkedIn. Um, but no, that was the best way to say it. That was the absolute 100% best way to say it. Okay, so if you are just joining us, you missed a real crazy episode where a tax collector reduced the tax debt for a gentleman's club, and he was bribed allegedly with trips to Miami and lap dances based on dance dollars, which were the strip club's internal currency, um, in-store cash, so to speak. So there you go.
Question. I know we're saying allegedly. Those text messages are receipts. Those are the receipts.
I mean, they are, but we're still at the indictment phase. And so everybody is innocent until proven guilty. We have to respect that, you know?
Oh, I do. I do.
It could have been AI generated.
That is true.
But I highly doubt it.
It makes me laugh when you got the people that like they post something online and they're like, I didn't say that. I was hacked. Yeah. Okay, Jane.
The only thing I'm still wondering is how did the dude not expect the girls to ghost him after he reduced the tax liability? Like what did you really think? Did you think she really liked you? It was a strip club. What?
Well, but look at like people that just go there for the company and everything else. Like I'm sure that clouds their judgment on how their current relationships are at these sorts of establishments. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure the girls are like, you get people to like you. The more you do that, the more money you make. So then that gives these individuals a false sense of committal, probably relationship, even though they're not looking like boyfriend, girlfriend, but you're supposed to be my friend. I don't know.
I would say anybody above a certain age should be able to realize the game there. And you can choose to play it and when to recognize that it's over. Because that, I just, maybe it's just me. I can't get that. That's.
No, I don't think it's that, Rob. But like, look at how many people we see get like scammed from romance scams and like all that stuff. Yep. I think it's when you can tug at somebody's heartstrings, like their emotional, like love or love language and stuff like that. I think it's really easy to break people down and manipulate them.
I see your point, but okay, so just hear me out. Mm-hmm. The romance scams are 100% deception, where one party knows and another party does not. These type of places create an illusion. You know what I'm saying? Did I black out? I think I blacked out.
No, you're right. It's an illusion. And I think it's those people that go to these places can sometimes get caught up in that and I don't want to sound mean. They can create their own delusion of how the relationship actually is. Now, I'm not saying like this guy did that. I don't think he was doing that. I think he knew he was getting something for something. So you're right. I mean,
yeah,
you are
and
right.
I guess that's the confusing part. Yeah, I mean, if you know that it is an illusion, then it's just a game, and when the game is over, it's over. Go pack up your. Never mind. This would be the wrong show to say that. Use that analogy. Pack up your toys and go home. You know, like just it's. So yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Anything else on this one, my friends? I think we've danced this one to death.
We told jeez. I was gonna try to use the word like stripped when I was reposting on LinkedIn, but I was like, I think that'll give it away. Let's talk about how this guy could have had his rights stripped based on his bad decisions. Something like that, but it wasn't as good as yours, Rob.
Well,
And here I was trying
convicted,
to
he's
figure
definitely
out
going
a
to have
way
his rights
to
stripped away.
DNA, but, you know.
If convicted, he's definitely going to have his rights stripped away from him.
For a long time.
I'm biting my tongue. I'm talking about DNA on that one.
I tell you what. Ah,
If they find him guilty, they're going to be collecting a sample of his. That's for sure.
that
You're collecting
is
a lot of samples of
100%
DNA.
true. He might be doing a different kind of dance in the future.
With a different kind of DNA.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm done. Anything else you want to say on this one?
No.
Oh,
No, please no.
all right. I'll stop. But he did get stripped of his dignity by that young lady that turned him down after the, deed was done. Okay, you know what? Thank you all for joining us on this episode 195. We will see you all next week before I become stripped of all my pride here.